Hello, I'm Bruce Lorincz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose. We're on location at Pine Valley Golf Course, and we have the blind golf tournament here, right?
Yes, it's our 20th annual blind golf tournament that we've had here in the city of Wadsworth.
And Mark, again, your last name?
Is Arnold.
Mark Arnold, yeah. And how did you get involved in blind golf?
Well, see if we could shorten this story up a little bit, but I've played golf all my life. I have something that's called Stargardt's disease, which is real similar to macular degeneration that lots of folks know about. Only my onset began when I was about 11. So I've always had a visual impairment the entire time I've ever played golf. Continue to lose my vision, and actually will continue to lose my vision a lot down the road. But I've always been a very athletic person, played high school sports, football in Wadsworth, track. And my father was a very accomplished amateur golfer. And in my younger days, 20s, 30s, I was pretty good. Carried a single-digit 6 handicap, which, I could break 80 a lot in those days. But I got to a point where my vision had slid down to where I could still play pretty well, but not at that level. And I was going to quit. And I stumbled on blind golf and thought, well, hey, I'll give this a shot. And I found a buddy of mine that said he would coach me, and so we got involved in 2001. We played. Finished second in the first couple tournaments we entered, and
Congratulations.
Qualified to go to the national tournament that year, and 9/11 hit. So we didn't get a chance to go. Played in a couple tournaments in 2002, had some success, and stuck with it. So 2003, lucky enough to win the National Open Championship in Portland, Oregon, and so it's been an integral part of my life for the last 20-some years.
How did American Blind Golf develop and have this tournament here at Pine Valley in Wadsworth?
Well, at the time that we had this tournament, I think I had enough early success. In 2002, one of the directors of the Blind Golf Organization asked if we would want to host a tournament. So we hustled around, and actually my next door neighbor, Bill Sadoff, was a Wadsworth Lion, and he got involved, and we brought a tournament to Rawega that year. Good and bad memories of that, because I think I shot my worst round ever, sighted, not sighted, whatever, under that pressure of the first tournament here. But that got the ball rolling. So we've had a tournament here. We have since become American Blind Golf in 2009. And so we've been playing this tournament as one of the 2 national championships for American Blind Golf.
Do a lot of veterans take advantage of this opportunity?
I had the very good fortune back in 2011. We play our National Stroke Play Championship in San Antonio. And for veterans out there and some other folks, Brooks Army Medical Center is in San Antonio. It is one of the premier veteran hospitals in the country. And at that tournament, when we have our charity scramble at the end, they invite veterans to come up. And at that tournament, I had asked if I could play with one of the veterans, and I met who I call our 2 signature soldiers, retired Sergeant Stetson Elliott and retired Sergeant Devin Shy. And we left that tournament, and I said, we need to bring the veterans into our tournament. And in 2012, we brought Devin and Stetson into town. Wadsworth made them grand marshals of the blue chip. Devin lit the match, and I consider them our sons. And they have been here, at least one of them, every year since. We're still holding out that Devin will be here at the end of the week. And so we have raised, in the course of their involvement, we've donated over $120,000 to Wounded Warrior Project since we brought them into town and made them part of the benefactors of our tournament.
That certainly must make you and the directors and the people in the planning feel very good.
Well, these folks that are here as players know what we do. And to give the folks a little bit of an idea, we don't raise any money for our charities if we don't have a tournament and we don't have players.
Sure.
Folks may believe that this is a real oddity and rarity that there's a blind golf tournament, but there are tournaments all over the globe. I've had the good fortune to play in 2 world championships, one in Belfast, one in Tokyo. Several of the guys have returned from South Africa from this year's world championship that are here. So people have to make decisions. This is all on their dime.
Right.
Now we contribute some things, we'll put them up in a hotel, but they're flying from all across the US, Canada, to come here, to win a little plaque. It's important to us, but it's a lot of money that they invest, and they do it because they know what we try to do through our tournaments.
How has Pine Valley Golf Course accommodated your group?
Maybe I should genuflect, I don't know, but Michael and Lisa Reynolds and Chris, who is the clubhouse manager, have just, the banner is on the cart barn that's behind us. They have opened up their arms to us and welcomed us. I was telling someone the other day, I did another interview, and I was telling them that, we are intrusive on a golf course. It's going to take us not a lot out of the ordinary, but we're going to play a little bit longer rounds, and they can be charging people regular rates and making pretty good money at their golf course, and they let us play here. And just trust me, they don't charge us anywhere near what they should. And if anyone, golfers that are watching, if they have not been to Pine Valley in the last 4 years, they will not recognize the golf course. When I was growing up, and this is no disrespect, this was the last place I played golf. The improvements that are here, the fairways, the greens, the amenities that Michael has put forth, and his wife Lisa, are impeccable for a municipal golf course in northeastern Ohio, in Wadsworth. It is a wonderful place to play golf.
So Mark, you're telling me that just not golfers from Ohio, but blind golfers from all over the country are here.
Well, absolutely. We've had golfers in the years past from Scotland. There's some people that have had conflicts this year, but at this year's tournament, there are five folks from Ontario, or 5 folks from Canada, 4 of them from Ontario, and Doug Penner is here from Winnipeg, Manitoba. So you can imagine the airline ticket it cost him to come here to try to win a plaque. But if you were listening at all when I was doing, our little coaches meeting ahead of time, we oftentimes talk about the ABG family. It is a very tight-knit group of folks. Coaches have said in the past, one of the most unique things about blind golfers and coaching and playing in tournaments is, when we're playing tomorrow and Thursday in competition, it's blood and guts. It is a competition, to us it's important. So it is a hard-nosed competition. But when folks come off and they come into that clubhouse, my fellow competitors in my site category want to know how I did. I want to know how they root.
Sure.
They truly root for each other because they know how much all of us love the game. Golf is a hard game to play, whether you have fully sighted or not. So it's quite a brotherhood and sisterhood.
Mark, can you break down how someone would begin the process to become a blind golfer?
Well, you need a dedicated coach. We cannot play golf without our coaches. Some of the players have American Blind Golf shirts on. I don't know if you would have seen it. Our official logo shows the coach kind of kneeling down behind the player, adjusting a club. Basically, The coaches have to give us the yardage. They've got to get us in alignment. They've got to get the club head set behind the ball. It then comes all on our shoulders, but it is, some people call it the ultimate team sport. It truly is, because you know, as I gradually lost my sight when I was in my 20s, 30s, I could go play golf with any of my friends. They just had to follow the ball. But I could see it well enough in front of me that I could hit it. Well, that doesn't happen that often anymore for most of the people that are here. So the coaches have to get them in position and get them ready to hit the golf shot.
What about the golfers? What do they feel once they've come off that last hole? I'm sure they're so appreciative, and to be out in the sun and to get the exercise, I'm sure it's just unbelievable.
Well, except for a few people, all of us have played golf with either fully sighted or better sight at one time. And all of us love the game. So for us to continue to play and compete, you know, I hate to admit it, I'm going to be 67 this fall. I don't know how that happened. But, you know, you're in high school, you compete. I've always been an athlete in Wadsworth. I played Little League Baseball, believe it or not, back when I could see
Hopefully
better.
you didn't upset the umpire. 'Cause I still do that.
Pee-wee football,
Yeah, right,
and high school
right,
sports
sure.
and stuff. But once you graduate from high school, unless you're fortunate enough to go on to college, your competitive days are over.
Right.
So this gives us an opportunity to play competitive golf. And I should say, there are no special tricked up rules. We play by the rules of the United States Golf Association. There are 2 actual rules in the rule book for vision impaired golfers. The 2 things that we can do is we are allowed to have a coach. Because if anyone watches golf on TV and you're seeing a professional putt on the green, the caddy has to step away. The caddy cannot help anymore with alignment. Well, our coaches have to. And if we go in a bunker, if we're in a hazard, we are allowed to ground our club, because we couldn't get back down with the depth perception if we're holding the
Right,
club
sure.
above the ground. So it is not a trick. You know, we don't kick it out. There's no give-me's. It's the true rules of golf when we play.
Mark, could we go ahead and maybe visualize and see a coach and a player in action? Could you maybe pull that off for us?
I will bring a couple folks down to give you a chance to speak with them and let you see. I'll have a totally blind golfer, which they are the kings. I mean, I've done this for 20-some years, and I've played sports all my life. Truly, nothing I have ever seen in the world of sports astounds me as a totally blind person. It's very difficult for me not to see the ball, but I've got a little awareness. But a totally blind golfer to hit a golf ball is pretty amazing.
We'll be back. Segment number 2 in just a minute. We're back with Mark Arnold, and he is, again, the director of the American Blind Golf, and we're going to get a demonstration here. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah, we're going to go through a couple different players. I don't think I hit on this, but blind golf is played in 3 different sight categories. B1 are totally blind, B2 like myself is 5% functional vision, and B3s are 10% functional vision. So we have a great player down here from Ontario, Canada, Kevin McBride, and Liz, who is coaching Kevin. And I think we're going to kind of watch them go through their routine, and Kevin's going to hit a tee shot or 2 for us.
Wow, that is really exciting and remarkable. As you said before, hitting a golf ball when you have full vision is quite a rough thing to do. And now with him, and what is he doing now?
Well, he's getting set up to hit his shot, and his coach is standing behind. You can see, and so they have their own routine. So he's going to probably check with Liz one last time, make sure he's in a good position, and go. Sounded great, Kevin. Like it?
No.
Well, the blind guy said it sounded great.
Yeah.
You want to hit
I
it?
didn't notice it was going left and low.
Do you want to hit another one?
Sure. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, don't throw it. Oh, you got one?
I used to be a B3, Kevin. You could have never touched me in my day.
I know that, Mark. I can't touch you today.
So he's making sure now that he really has an idea of where he wants to try to attempt to hit it.
Yes, and we've finished our practice rounds this morning, so he's got a good mental image of the course. There we go. Sounded great, Kevin.
So again, Kevin's from Canada.
He's from Ontario,
wow,
Canada.
that
They came down last year for the first time when we had the Nations Cup, which is our version of the Ryder Cup, one in which the U.S. won the cup back by 1 point. And when he left last year, he said, "I want to come here every year." People love Wadsworth. You know, we took them down to the Wadsworth Brewing Company last night
Sure.
and then had a American Blind Golf Ale, which is on tap down at
That's tremendous, tremendous.
Which, by the way, the sponsors in this town are just incredible.
And accommodations with hotels and motels, it really brings some extra dollars in the pockets of the other proprietors.
Absolutely. The folks that are coming down and just kind of getting ready to warm up a little bit, I always call the individuals in the B1 site category the stars of blind golf, because Brian is from Georgia. Actually, the head golf coach at his high school, he teaches social studies, and Brian is totally blind, and is one of the top players in the U.S. And you know, his best friend is here coaching him, and his brother came up with him. I've known Brian for about 10 years, and just a great guy.
And he's left-handed. We'll have to change the angle of the camera a little bit.
He hits from the wrong side of the golf ball, but
Too easy from the right side.
whenever you guys want to go, Brian, you could take your time and set him up.
We'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back with the final segment of Bruce on the Loose, and now we're going to see a left-handed golfer, number one, and a totally blind golfer. Is that correct?
Yes, Brian Oglesby from the greater Atlanta area in Georgia, and Brian is one of the top blind golfers. So you'll see his coach had to take him right up to the tee. He's now getting him set up. They're communicating back and forth. And he'll let him know when he thinks it's good or any last-minute adjustments.
That is remarkable, Mark. That is remarkable. And you said he's a social studies teacher and a golf coach?
He is the head golf coach at his high school, and he's had several competing state individuals from his, and his brother Alex helps him coach. Obviously there's things that visually he's got to convey to the people, but Brian is very knowledgeable. As a matter of fact, I played my practice round with Brian and Jason today. Bang.
It's unbelievable. And the coach,
Right away, Brian.
and the coach has to be very patient and really very, very complimentary when things are go well. Would think.
I think if you talk to all of our players and they answer you honestly, they will say it's probably 60% the coach and 40% us. Now it takes skill to hit that golf ball, but without a famous blind golfer once said, "Without a coach, I'm just a ball and a stick."
Wow.
I mean, they can't play. So,
All right, the practice round is over today, so tomorrow's the real McCoy. You're getting going tomorrow, and tell me what brings tomorrow and Thursday and the rest of the week.
Tomorrow is what we would call our cut down round. We play a Stableford format on the first day, which, if people know a little bit about golf, it is not based on any index or handicap. It's straight up golf, but we have a scoring system. And those three site categories that I mentioned, we will take the top two people in each of those three site categories. On Thursday, they will play for the match play championship in that category. And the rest of the folks, if they did not make the finals, they will play an overall Stableford tournament on Thursday with their USGA index or the handicap in golf, if you will, because on that day, all three site categories will be playing against each other. So it's got to have a level playing field for the rest of the folks to play. Because, I mean, if people, Doug Penner coming from Manitoba, Canada, if he doesn't make the finals, he's made a whole heck of a long trip for one day of golf. So he's got a title to win on the second day. So.
And then what about any awards program coming up?
Thursday night we'll have our banquet at the Galaxy, and we'll recognize our champions. The mayor will be there, and there'll be several people there as dignitaries from the town to pass out the awards. And on Friday is one of our big events, because Friday is where we raise the money for our charities, which I don't think I've referenced, but we have two major charities we support. One that we call the Adaptive Technology Scholarship Program. So vision impaired and blind students in northeastern Ohio, when they need specialized adaptive technology equipment, which is incredibly expensive, we purchase those. Now, I know, Bruce, you and I come from education backgrounds. We know there are times where the schools will purchase things, and maybe Uncle Sam will purchase things, but most of those things stay at school. These kids have to go home and do their homework and do things, so magnification devices, computers that speak. And the second is our veteran initiatives, and I know I mentioned earlier, Wounded Warrior Project alone, it's $120,000 that we've given so far. Since the 20-year inception of the tournament this year, I didn't think we were going to get there, but we had another donation that's going to enable it this year. We'll give away over $400,000. Not that we raised much more than that because we have to pay our bills, but $400,000 worth of donations to the charities.
And a lot of those coming back to Northeast Ohio. That's got to make both of us feel tremendous.
Okay, I won't go off on a tangent, but I will state this statistic. I know this because I consider myself one of the luckiest blanks on the planet. Statistically, severely visually impaired individuals and blind individuals, about 22% can support themselves, let alone themselves and a family. And the main thing that is improving that is assistive technology. And so we're very proud to do that and honor our veterans as well. But Friday is the charity scramble. Sounds a little crazy that people would pay $400 or $500 to come and play with a blind golfer, but they do.
Mark Arnold, I learned a lot today, very much. You must be really proud of putting this all together. And the weather's going to cooperate too, I hear, in Northeast Ohio.
From what you
nice.
see here, it's ever improving. And I think Friday, 83, 84, sunshine. We're progressing great the rest of the week.
Thanks very much for your time and effort.
Well, I appreciate your time, Bruce.
We really appreciate you viewing Bruce on the Loose, and we'll be back next week with another show.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.